Hello everybody, it's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Not gonna be long. Look, you've heard me say this a million times. If you don't have at least two independent streams of income through which you hedge your primary source of income to protect you against catastrophic loss in that area, you are missing an opportunity to ensure your long-term financial security. I have created the 7-day online business launch course, which is a formula I use to reestablish myself online. It works over and over again. I've used it over and over again. Now I'm challenging you to take advantage of it. Click the link, learn more about it, enroll, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable week, no matter what is going on, no matter what you've been through, no matter what your current state of reality are, the things that are pressing against you. If you're still breathing, you are still in the fight. Always remember that. That's something that I literally live by. If I'm waking up, I've got a chance to win. I'm not going to sit up and lose myself in what's not going on. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. But before I do, I want to remind you that the special offer on the 7-day online business launch course, which is now completely online, all the lectures, the video lectures from my previous workshops, courses, whatever, where I taught this course is all in one place now, along with step-by-step instructions on how to set up an online business with a low-cost entry and scaling out, which is how I completely reinvented and reestablished myself after the recession at the beginning of this century. So look, in this, you're going to get the complete layout of every step you need to take, all of the resources you need to make it happen, all in one place, the video lectures, the writing, the handouts, the templates, from writing a business plans, doing marketing analysis, doing product or service selection. Everything you need to know, building a website, a landing page, all that stuff is going to be out there. You're going to find out that everything you need to do this is within your grasp and you can make it happen. And as I've always said, that if you don't have a minimum of two independent streams of income that hedge against your primary source of income, the loss of your primary source of income, you need to take this course. It pays for itself over and over again. On top of that, if those of you who get it this week, because at the end of this week, it's going back to the regular price of $5.97. It's $3.97 now. But if you also get it before the end of the week, you get the new Ascension 2023 personalized 6-month success and growth plan. This is a personalized plan that my team is going to build for you, where you will literally answer 20 questions that are directly related to the level of success you want to achieve and the direction you want to take, and really actually create a plan specifically designed for you. This is not a template plan where we're throwing it out to everybody. This is every time that a person signs up, they get it. And it's an unbelievable offer by itself. We're doing it as a special offer for the first 100 people who sign up. We're definitely not at 100 anymore. I haven't looked at the latest count, but we're still going at this particular point in time. That's $97. But if you sign up for the 7-day online business launch course, you'll get that absolutely free. That's that. So let's talk again here about thankfulness. Anybody who has followed me for any stretch of time knows that I place a great deal of importance on gratitude. It is the foundation on which I live my life. My life is built on gratitude. So then, therefore, my life is built on my capacity to appreciate the things I have, to appreciate the things that I've been able to accomplish, to appreciate the things that are in front of me. I don't allow myself to give a whole lot of attention to what I don't have, what hasn't happened. And when there is an understanding or an awareness of something that is lacking or something that is in appearance, not presence, then I understand that it's within my grasp that I have to put in the work. I have to do things. But my joy, my fulfillment, my happiness, my peace, my sense of well-being isn't assigned to getting things. It's not assigned to what I drive. It's not assigned to where I live. It's not assigned to how many likes I get. It's not dependent upon how many shares I get or anyone's opinion of me. It is directly associated with, first and foremost, am I living in my purpose? Do I have in my immediate periphery of spirit, of proximity, of everything that I consider to be a part of my space? Do I have things that I can be grateful for? And the answer is yes. If I'm breathing, I have something to be grateful for. If there's a life that I've touched, there's something to be grateful for. If people's lives are different because I've lived, then I have something to be grateful for. Yes, having the things has its place, but the things don't define me. The things don't determine whether I'm going to smile today. The things don't determine whether I'm going to square my shoulders and feel good about myself today. What's going to determine that is, am I grateful for what I have, and am I living in my purpose? This is what I want to tell you. So much of what we have in the way of misery is that we have developed this tendency or this proclivity to sit up and place the things that we desire above the things we have. And so we focus on lack, we focus on what we don't have, we focus on unmet expectations, and we lose the capacity to appreciate what we do have. The moment that you lose the capacity to appreciate what you possess, you also close the gates to abundance to be able to create more. You can't develop and gain and create more in the presence of complaining, in the presence of whining, in the presence of constant anxiety, worry, and frustration. You simply do not have the proper connectivity with God. You don't have the proper elevation in energy, frequency, and vibration. You simply are not going to be able to achieve the things that you desire because you are so focused on what you don't have. You have lost the capacity to appreciate what you do. And when you can't appreciate what you do have, then you are incapable of creating a consistent state of mind along the lines of gratitude. And I've said this, I don't know how many times. Gratitude is the gateway to abundance. Gratitude, it literally emits an energy frequency in hertz, on the hertz scale of 500 or more. That's literally double where most people are operating. You know why? Most people are operating in fear, worry, anxiety, anger, frustration, bitterness, jealousy, envy, strife. All of these things are 250 hertz or lower. And that's low frequency, low vibration, and it pulls you further and further away from God's consciousness, God's mind, God's answers. You're wondering why your prayer life isn't being answered because you're operating in fear, you're operating in worry, you're operating in anxiety, you're operating in an idea of lack, you're operating in spaces that simply does not connect with the mind of God. God does not recognize lack. God didn't create it. Your mind created it. You're operating in a space and a place that cannot connect you to the highest form of yourself, the highest level of power, the highest source. And what you're doing is literally robbing yourself of opportunities by sitting up and wallowing in something that isn't even real. But what I want you to learn to do is every day wake up in the morning and decide that you're going to be grateful before you get out of the bed. Decide that you're going to be thankful before you get out of the bed. Decide that, yes, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be setbacks. This isn't an act of denial. This isn't pretending that there aren't challenges in life. This is simply saying that what you are and who you are trumps every challenge, every negative situation, every negative circumstance. It is in being who you are that you will rise above all these things that you have given so much power to in the past. But you've got to set them aside and recognize, I'm going to first operate from a place of gratitude. Then I'm going to operate from a place and a position that I can literally solve everything. By the nature and definition of a problem, there's a solution. By the nature and definition of what Quincy Jones calls a puzzle. And I tend to adapt that. When I see something challenging, I don't see a problem, I see a puzzle. Why? Because that immediately tells my mind to look for the solution. Why? Puzzles are meant to be solved. Problems tend to become overwhelming, but puzzles are meant to be solved. So instead of looking at the problem and going, oh my God, I see a puzzle, I say, what's the solution? I've asked the question that sets the path, and that's it. You've got to stop thinking that things are going to fill the whole of your purpose, that things are going to provide the level of peace you desire, that things are going to fulfill you. Things are ancillary results to you living in purpose, to you having a level of gratitude and appreciation, to you rising to meet the level of your design. It is not in looking at it, and people sit up and say, well, you act like you don't know. I've been actually accused. This is the crazy part. I've been actually accused of being in denial because of how I approach challenging things in my life. It's, how are you smiling? It's because there's something on the other side of this resistance that makes the resistance worthy. It's the universal principle. It's the way God designed it. It's, I heard Will Smith once say that God placed everything worth having on the other side of fear. You could say the same thing about fear. You could say the same thing about pain. You could say the same thing about delay. On the other side of all these things that tend to make us balk and lay down our quest, our yearning, our desires, because it got hard. The other side of that thing is the thing that you're seeking, but you don't get it by simply wishing for it. Wishing is not a plan. You're going to have to sit down and make up in your mind. And here's the thing, people ask me all the time, well, doc, you've got X amount of this, and you've done this, and you've got this, and all these little things that they say about me. What you realize, when I started, I had none of that. I just had an idea that I wasn't going to be ordinary. I wasn't going to be average. I wasn't going to settle for what the world was going to push upon me as my lot in life. And then I decided that ignorance was a weakness. And so every time I met something that I lacked knowledge in, that weakness of ignorance became my passion. And so what I started to do is learn things about things that had nothing to do with where I was going to hang my hat. But what it did is it gave me an expansive understanding of how things operate and how things work. If you want to see why any group or individual fails in this life consistently over and over again, whether you talk about an individual, whether you talk about a race or group, whether you talk about a nation or country, it's the inability to understand how things work. When you don't understand how things work, you are manipulated by people who do. And a lot of the things that you're facing is because simply you don't understand how things work. You don't want to invest in how things work. You want to sit up and see things in the most superficial way because it requires the less amount of thought and critical engagement that is necessary. And so this is the problem, is we love to bring out God, but we don't want to operate within the full capacity of the responsibility associated with it. We just think if we say God, then everything's going to be all right. No, you were put here for a purpose. Some people, something I say all the time. I say, when people ask me, well, why is it that I feel like my prayers are going unanswered? Why is it that I feel like I'm praying over and over again? And when I talk to people about prayer, there's this real simple dynamic that I do. I'm like, okay, tell me about your prayer life. How does it go? Your average prayer, how long does it last? How does it start? And what I find is, it's okay, tell me this. Well, I start like this, and I say this, and I do this, and I do this, and I tell God this, and I tell God that. And I'm like, okay. I said, so you're 30 minutes into your prayer. At what point did you stop and listen? I said, tell me any relationship that is cultivated and grown where there's only one-sided conversations. I said, also, tell me any relationship where you see growth, where the one with the knowledge never gets to say anything, and the one that doesn't have the answers, the one always talking. See, that's the idea. We've been taught how to say stuff, but we don't understand communication. See, prayer is about revelation. It's not the power equation, it's the revelation equation. The power equation is taking the revelation and put it into action. And that's why most people don't get it. It's because they want the prayer to solve the problem. You want to pray and have God fix it. That's why you're here. And I tell people all the time, God is never going to deliver you from the giants he sent you to slay. You're here for a purpose. You're not here just to take up space. This is the problem. If I'm sitting here and what I'm facing scares me, and my response is, God, remove me, God's answer is, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, no, I will not take you out of it, but I will bring you through it. What does it mean? This challenge is meant to grow you. This challenge is meant to solidify who you are in this world. You have a design, and that design is a gift. In that gift is the expression of your purpose, and that expression of your purpose is the power of providence. In that power of providence is the assurance that if you push towards what you're supposed to be doing, that's absolutely nothing that can stop you. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be obstacles. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be delays. It doesn't mean that people aren't going to dislike you. What it means is that the very definition of destiny is the more you try to stop it, the more you ensure it happens. But you've got to understand your destiny, and you got to be willing to walk in it. And you've got to have an understanding that gratitude shapes the foundation of everything that you want to do. If you can't appreciate what you have, you're never going to accumulate any of the things that the world tells you will make you happy, that you will immediately find out does not. You're going to have to, within yourself, develop the capacity to first and foremost be appreciative of what you have. Because I can tell you, no matter how bad you think you have it, there is someone in this world wish they were you. I live in Houston. I've lived around this country, but I was born here, and I currently live here. And we have one of the top medical centers in the world, and one of the top cancer centers in the world. And right, you got MD Anderson, St. Luke's, and Texas Children's Hospital, like literally right next to each other. And in my early 20s, I took a tour just to meet and say hello and meet some of the patients there. It changed me forever. When I left out of there, I had made up in my mind that I would never complain again. Even when I found my grandfather in St. Luke's, from the age of 78 to 83, when he passed away, he suffered with acute leukemia. Even during that time, I didn't complain because I understood there was purpose. But I understood there are people going through much more and more catastrophic things than I'm experiencing, no matter how bad things seem for me. So I started to pay attention to my circumstances. I'm almost done here. I started to pay attention to my circumstances. I started to realize that my circumstances were not indicative of my destiny. My circumstances were temporal. And I understood that if I could escape the feelings of low frequency, low vibration, jealousy, envy, fear, strife, all these things that people tend to get caught up in when things aren't going their way. When you can escape that, you start to see things differently. You start to see things differently. And when you start to do that, people ask me all the time, say, well, what is it? He said, look, when I'm able to get out of that, and I'm able to go to gratitude, and I'm able to go from gratitude to love, from love to revelation. In other words, the acquisition of knowledge. I'm able to connect with the Spirit of God, and then my spirit and the Spirit of God connects, and then all of a sudden the Spirit of God is communicating with me. And in this, communication, I'm starting to realize that what seems to be a permanent situation is a temporal situation, and it is not the outcome. It is simply a part of the path. It's an obstacle. It's a part of the path in the journey to destiny. And so what I've learned is that my spirit begins to disagree with my circumstances. It doesn't mean that it isn't there. It just means that it doesn't have the power to stop me from doing and being what I need to be. Don't give up on your destiny. Don't give up on your purpose. Don't give up on the things that can grow you. And start to understand that the greatest level of peace, the greatest level of joy, the greatest level of fulfillment is living in your divine purpose. Understanding why you're here. And I guarantee you is directly associated in helping someone else, in impacting the life of someone else, giving someone else permission to step out of their darkness in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And everybody's gift is different. Everybody's path and purpose is somewhat unique. It may be in the same vein, but it's unique because only you can do it the way you do it. And there are people who will only be able to respond to the way you do it. So, look, I want to lift you. I want to encourage you. I want to give you everything that you feel you need in the way of encouragement to know that you haven't been abandoned. Life isn't over. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Stand up, square your shoulders, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm built for this. You don't know how many times that alone has shaped my life and gave me the courage to continue to fight on, to realize true victory in what I was doing. So with that being said, I'm going to get ready to get off of here. As I said at the beginning of this, you need to take advantage of the 7-day online business and launch course while it's still on the discount. And if you do, this week you get the free 6-month personalized success and growth plan, which I'm just really excited about because, man, having a plan where you say, this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm at, and then having a 6-month follow through action plan that will guarantee your growth. If you follow it, you're going to grow because just the consumption of knowledge and the visitation of things that you haven't visited is going to create new ideas, new pathways, a new level of confidence and courage. It's so important. And that comes with this. So again, I'm challenging you to stand up to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, which is a growth process. On that note, as I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I challenge you to do the same thing. I'm out.